Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. And you can really find a way to lose if you are making millions of dollars and still wanting to play like you are a gangster. Like you out here bang bang boogieing. What you're doing is taking it to the stupid. Now, I don't know all of Jared Anderson's backstory. I saw the little film they did on him. Looks like he may have come up through a little bit of tough times. Oh, he has a brother and ended up getting locked up. But the rumors are kind of swirling that he may still have some kind of a association with a gang, right? Now, I'm going to say that's a rumor. But at the same time, with me, this kind of caught my ear, just the way he said this.
Y'all trying to down me, cuz. The fuck going on with y'all? But on my mama, is y'all promoting me or is y'all trying to down me, cuz? The fuck going on with y'all? But on my mama, is y'all promoting me or is y'all trying to down me, cuz?
You see that cuz talk, man? And then the whole thing with this man driving under the influence, fleeing from the police. This rumors about him still having some affiliation to a gang. My thing is this, right? These guys can do what they want, but there are consequences, right? But is there any room for this foolishness in the sport of boxing? I understand some people are young, depends on the environment, all that. And there are a lot of people who are going to sit here and say, well, you wouldn't understand. Yo, my man, y'all got to know your audience, right? Let me tell you something. This is a circus act, man. This is crazy to me. Making all this money and still want to come out here, and some of these fighters, right, want to play gangster. That's not what it's about. You know what I mean? I'm trying to watch what I say because it ain't about me, man. But what I do know, most cats who come from that kind of background, they still may have their friends and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You never sit there and just start acting like you're better than people. But most of those cats, the real ones, they're going to be like, nah, get the hell up, away from this. Go do your thing. You have an outlet. Something's working for you. If there are things that aren't productive taking place, they're not going to encourage you to be around that. And they're not going to want you to come out here talking about some gang or using the slang or out here trying to represent certain colors. They're not going to want you to do that bull crap because, it draws unnecessary attention on yourself. And most of them wish they were in your position, especially when you're a guy like Jared Anderson who's making, millions of dollars a fight. So when I see this and when I hear this, to me it's just disappointing. Because if you look at the culture right now, and I would say the climate, it's really about generating wealth for a lot of young men and women, especially when it comes to the black community, all right? And when you see a young man like him, who obviously stars have lined up for him, from being an amateur boxer to turning pro to making millions, but there's a disconnect there. Because what he's achieved, that's what most young people who kind of look like him, with a little bit of sense, are trying to figure out how to achieve generational wealth. And when you see a guy like him who's got it, every fight he continues to add on to his generational wealth that he's creating. Millions of dollars every fight. But you want to come out here and play gangster. That's counterproductive. I'm not getting it. And I don't want to hear no one saying, well, you wouldn't understand unless you come from that. Man, kill that fucking noise. You understand? Kill that bullshit ass noise. I really don't want to get into too much crap. I'm going to stay hood champion. I ain't going to give y'all who are, the person behind hood champion. But I'm going to tell you what. All of this is fun and games to the people out there who are supporting this shit and encouraging this shit when it comes to these fighters who still want to act like they're gangsters, still want to act like they want to sell drugs, still want to be out in clubs, being around all the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? All of that may seem cool to some people, but when the real deal starts, it's not so fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not so fun when the real deal starts. From seeing your friend get shot, from your ass getting shot to you getting jumped, seeing your friends get jumped, seeing a person get stomped out, see a motherfucker come out of, see motherfuckers trying to act hard in the parking lot, get jumped, and they take one of them big ass newspaper stands, the big old school heavy ones, and slam it on his head and mash and bust his fucking head wide open. So let me tell you something. You're gonna be Al Capone. Then be ready to go all the way, because there's some Al Capones out there that's more than ready to go all the way. They coming up in the goddamn AM PM gas station. They coming up in the 7-Eleven. They coming up in where you work. They don't care. So this lifestyle, man, to me, it ain't nothing to really be playing around with. And if you have an out, and you're where the majority of people in the world would like to be, to achieve what it feels like to be financially free, why would you still try to keep a foot in that chaos? I'll tell you why, man. Some of these people, they either truly haven't been through anything when it comes to, seeing somebody losing close friends to them, or being in an environment where they almost lose their life, where they're just out trying to have fun, or they're the followers. I just don't get it. I honestly don't get it. And what I'm talking is in general now. Jared Anderson, of course, it seemed like he may be trying to still be a gangster to a certain extent. He doesn't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? But if there's other guys out here involved in the sport of boxing, man, it's dumb. Like, let's just take a look at these guys who still want to have a foot in the street. Look at how that ends up. All the money in the world and still want to keep your foot in the street. You can take a look at what's going on right now with that guy, Puffy, Brother Love, Diddy, Puff Daddy. Horrible. Want to still be out here involved in dumb shit. From whatever the allegations are about women, about drugs, about shooting people. Stupid. Look at Suge Knight. Man, the biggest record label in the company, they want to be involved in all that gang shit. You know what I'm saying? Look over there when it comes to these organizations with the organized crime. Making a bunch of money, get greedy, and things just don't work out, man. Look at these people out here, man, who were making millions of dollars a day off of the drugs and all that crap. Could have made money and walked away, but they get greedy, and what happened? People start dying, they end up dying, people going to jail. So when you look at it, there's just no good outcome. And when you look at Jared Anderson, and this is the thing about him, like, I like Jared Anderson. But goddamn, Roy Jones or somebody else needs to get their hands back on him and reel him in before this man ends up really becoming another goddamn statistic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the signs are there that Jared Anderson, in my opinion, is going to fall flat on his face if he doesn't make some changes. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. He can do what he wants. I can do what I want. You can do what you want. But there are consequences. And a lot of times, man, I'm going to tell you this shit, right? Because I've seen a whole lot. Just like a lot of you, right? I just don't talk about it because that's the channel's about boxing. But this kind of hit, this bothered me a little bit. Because what is he, 20-something years old? It's like, what are you doing? You're making millions of dollars. It's one thing if he was like 12 to 18 years old, you know, and still them adolescent kind of years. And it's like, okay, he kind of figured some things out. You know, a lot of us go left. Doesn't mean we all go to the gang route. Some people get involved in drugs. Some people go, men and women, you know, out there like to have a lot of sex. Other people want to just party. The bottom line is a lot of us go left and we get involved in different shit. But at some point, you want to come back on course. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need to have someone or something to help, to use as a catalyst to bring you back on course. And when I watch him, I don't know if he has that catalyst like I'm talking about to pull him back on the straight and narrow, to be like, hey, look, stop that. There's no need to be out here trying to represent like you're some gangster. That's corny. You know what I'm saying? That if anything, it makes people lose respect for you. That's dumb. It's counterproductive. And you already look at this whole thing with Top Rank. Somebody posted something yesterday, right? Where they felt that I was giving Bob Arum an out when it comes to how he treats or he is treated black fighters. Now, I wasn't even talking about race because I really don't talk about that on my channel because I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to put me up on no motherfucking cross, and I'm not, and if you do, I'm climbing down off the motherfucker. Like, the race shit means nothing to me. Like, I don't talk about that. Like, it just, I don't even think about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of people who, in the boxing community, they want to push you towards a conversation where it ends up we're talking about race. 99% of the time, it's race. It's not religion and ethnic origin and political affiliation, economic status, and shit ends up on race, right? And I don't really like those conversations. For what? We're talking boxing. Unless there's something specific. I mean, I don't really care to talk about it. But he was saying that I was giving Bob Arum an out because he felt that Bob Arum has mistreated black fighters. And he's greedy, and Bob Arum just wants to take all the money and not give black fighters what they deserve. And what I'll say is this, right? From in my opinion, because I don't fucking know. I think Bob Arum, just like any other promoter, they're in the business to make money. And if you have these guys who are first starting out in their careers, and it's anyone Bob has worked with, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter, right? Irregardless of race. Bob Arum is going to pay you a certain amount of what he thinks your market value is, especially early in your career. And then whatever profit he makes, that's for him. Now, if you keep winning and growing your profile, well, then of course the fight purses are going to increase, right? So the fight purse, it's like me in the military. You know, my pay is going to was commensurate with my rank. Your pay is going to be commensurate with your profile and your wins. And especially how you're winning. If you're knocking everybody out, you're probably going to get a bigger fight purse than someone who's just putting the bing bings and cruising to a decision. But that being said, Bob Arum had admitted in the past he didn't really understand how to market to the urban audience. Okay? Now you come and look at, in my opinion, Bob Arum has kind of figured out some things, and it seems to me that he's making an effort. The way he was taking, him and his team were taking Jared Anderson, Keyshawn Davis, and Shakur Stevenson, and putting all three of them on the same fight card. And I mean, those fight cards were amazing because you had three outstanding talents, just happened to be black American guys. The same race of fighters where Terrence Crawford had issues with Bob Arum, Mayweather had issues, but De La Hoya left. There are a lot of fighters who leave Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say race has anything to do with it because, you know, I don't know. But what I'll say is all three of them, it was the money, you know? So the bottom line is when it comes to Bob Arum, I do think he still struggles to hear Shakur Stevenson talking about, you know, these N-words this, Keyshawn Davis talking N-words this. I think Bob Arum and his team, even though they understand that when it comes to a handful of these individuals from this race, there's a cultural disconnect where I'm pretty sure hearing them talk about, using the N-word and the whole cuz talk and the gangster talk, I'm sure that makes Bob uncomfortable. I'm sure that makes him feel like, man, I really don't know if I want this guy representing my brand. It'll make me feel that way. How would it make you feel? Let's be for real. If you own a business and you have an employee working for you, you'd want to say, hey, outside of work, it's your life, personal life, whatever. But if you have someone who's representing your brand and the whole world knows that this is one of your, you could say, employees, right? And they're out there acting the fool and talking crazy, not conducting themselves in a professional manner, right? So what do? One of the most effective employees you got, right? You gonna promote them? No, you probably sit there and say, okay, well, I still need them. We'll still give them the salary they're making. But when it comes time for promotion and different things, man, they're probably not going to be quick to want to say, this is going to be our guy or girl. They're going to probably keep your ass there in that holding pattern. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there's a contract involved. And if that contract finishes out, they probably won't re-up your contract. It's all business. But in my opinion, when it comes to Bob Arum, if I had somebody who I have a contract with to promote fights, I would have to think just how much of a headache. It doesn't matter what kind of money I'm making with this person. How much of a headache, how much stress are they causing me, especially in Bob Arum's advanced age? Is it worth it? And I think Bob Arum is kind of at that point when it comes to Jared Anderson. But then again, who knows? If the money that he's making off of Jared Anderson is so good, Bob's a businessman. He'd be like, yeah, we'll deal with the bullshit as long as we keep making money hand over fist. But it is what it is, man. But that being said, when it comes to these fighters, and I see some other guys out there. I seen photos of guys out there throwing gang signs and shit, man. Not just black fighters, guys from other races. I see it. I just don't, whatever, I ain't here to talk about that. But this right here got my attention because he was already saying he wanted to retire early from boxing. Then he was crying when he was talking to Roy Jones about he doesn't want the weight put on his shoulders. He's supposed to be the next big heavyweight fighter, going to be a heavyweight champion, represent the United States. Sounds like he doesn't want that. Then something about drunken driving in a high-speed car chase. Now he's out here, and rumor is this whole thing, the explosion there about feeling like they top ranking those guys weren't giving him a fair shake when they were commentating on him. The whole gangster talk and people saying he may be affiliated with a gang. That's what made me do this video about this guy Jared Anderson and how I feel he taking it to the stupid, man. Multi-millionaire, making big money, all the potential in the world. Could possibly throw that shit away for what? And I'm gonna tell you something too, man. Right? I remember for all the way until I was like maybe I was 40 years old. I'm 48 now, right? Yeah, I think I was like 40. All the way up until 40. I always felt that, there's certain things you can't do. And I would always say that. A person can't do this, because if they do that, this is what I would do. And something happened to me that made me look at things a little differently. And I was 40 when I got that. And I remember I was sitting in my situation like, this is not the answer. And I kind of wish I would have got that as a teenager. But at age 40, I got hit with the bullshit. And I was like, yo, this is not the answer. And sometimes it takes an unfortunate ordeal to get these guys who may think it's cool to be out being tough, maybe fighting, maybe drinking and driving, maybe partying, maybe hanging out, saying they're affiliated with a gang. They may think that shit is cool. But once the real deal starts and they find themselves in an unfortunate ordeal, if they're able to get out of that shit, they'll probably see things a little bit different the next day. I'm telling you. Because ain't nothing like having your freedom taken away from your ass. I don't care if it's for 12 hours, 12 weeks, 12 years. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. And when I watch this guy, Jared Big Baby Anderson, you would think that he'd have an understanding of that since he has a brother who's locked up. But I would hate to see him end up going to the joint, all because of a bad decision that he's made, especially when this man can do anything he wants for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Making good money. He's a goddamn millionaire. What are you doing? But one thing I'll tell you, like my dad used to tell me when I was like 9, 10 years old, he was like, you know what, man? You can't leave your mind behind. No matter where you go in this world, if you have problems, he was like, you take your problems with you because you can't leave your mind behind. And when I look at Jared Anderson, it makes me wonder, what's going on in this man's mind? Because whatever it is, everywhere he goes, he takes it with him. And that could be why he ends up in the situation he ends up in. And whatever it is going on up there, he needs to get that fixed pretty damn quickly. Excuse me, because he's going to end up in a situation where nobody can help him. And it's going to probably either be jail or going to be dead. Because ain't nothing else coming out of this, wannabe tough guy shit, running from the police, being drunk and driving, playing like you're a gangster. Nothing good comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's some kind of temporary satisfaction of being praised by whoever it is you have around you, believe you me, when you have all that money and you're around people like that, there's going to be some haters that just aren't going to like it. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I know people who are doing very well, just like myself, and they still hate. So could you imagine? So you already know the have-nots, how they're going to be. But I know people who are doing very well, and they still hate. It's like, yo, you got a pretty good damn life, and you worried about what this man or woman's doing? I just see this as a big caution sign. Like, that's what I see with Jared Anderson, is like a big caution sign flashing, like a warning, like warning, caution. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop what you're doing right now. Stop right now. I'm telling you, man, I ain't gonna get into too much specifics, but I'll tell you this one thing, and I mentioned it. When I seen that, I seen a lot, but the one thing that really, I was working at Taco Bell as a young guy, right? And a lot of people used to come and loiter in the parking lot and shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff used to happen in that parking lot. It was in a crazy area. A lot of stuff used to happen. So when the real deal used to start, the manager, we already knew, especially on a Friday, Saturday night, go lock the door, because they didn't want nobody, because people used to try to run in there. And when they used to run in there, people used to follow them inside. And chaos. So we always knew it was going to be something. So it was a wild area. But when I saw this fella was playing tough guy, and there's a lot of fools out there, a lot of characters we used to be in that parking lot. A lot of idiots, man. And I saw somebody, man, end up having some bing bings put on him by a bunch of people, and he was incoherent. He was out. He was messed up. And they picked up, I said here in the video earlier, they picked up that goddamn, remember them big newspaper stands? They had like the red and blue ones, the heavy ones. Put a quarter in, pull it out, get a newspaper. Big ass heavy newspaper stand. And I saw one of them, like 2 of them dudes picked that shit up and slammed it on his head. And I just saw blood go everywhere. I remember we were in the store, and we were at the front, and we were watching that because we had some friends out, so we'd let them in, you know. But when the bang bang boogie starts, you know, I mean, everybody inside, doors locking down, and just like, and it was normal. It's like, yo, they acting stupid again. But anyway, when I saw that happen, it's one thing to see somebody get shot, see somebody get stomped out, somebody get stabbed, be in a party and, you know, much shooting and shit. But when I saw that, because I knew I didn't know him personally, but you know, I knew who the guy was. We weren't friends, but I knew who the guy was. And he and I remember we were talking about that. It was like, and he ended up, you know, dying and shit. But I remember we were talking about that because, you know, everybody's talking, oh, you heard what happened to so-and-so, boom, they hit him with the damn, smashed his head with the newspaper and shit. But I just remember we were like, yo, all of that over what? You know what I'm saying? And it was over somebody staring. Isn't that dumb? But that's how it is when you have a bunch of people loitering, driving through with their cars. You got pride, you got guys from different sets, you got girls involved, and then, you know, back then it was 40s and shit. People drinking, getting drunk. And you always gonna have the tough guy, the gangsters, the wannabe tough guy. They want to come through there and act the ass, and that shit didn't work out very well that day for that guy. He ended up getting killed, but it's the way they beat him, and then how they do that. He was gone already, man. He should have just left him. He wasn't dead yet, but he was messed up. But when they came and put the icing on the cake and they slammed the thing on his head, that was just I ain't never seen no shit like that. And I remember I was like, we've seen a lot. That just did something to me. I was like, damn, just kill that man. But there was more things that used to happen out there. But anyway, when I look at that, it makes me think about when I look at Jared Anderson and these other fighters who have everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you want to end up in a situation where people who, especially people know who you are. You're big, you're strong, you're a boxer, you're intimidating to a lot of people. They're not going to necessarily want to sit there and square up and go toe-to-toe with you. You're going to probably end up getting hurt really badly. And it won't end up well for you. My goddamn water. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the vet. My goddamn, left my water in the goddamn other room. Got a goddamn cold, man. But anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I don't like this gang shit, man. It just rubs me a kind of way. I don't like it, especially for Jared Anderson. The guy's got all the, I would say it looks to me like they have all the opportunities in the world right now. You gonna squander that away for what? You know what I mean? If he's really, like they say around, involved with these gangs and shit. But for any of these guys who may be involved with that, they just need to stop. It ain't worth it, man. You have an opportunity to do something great. To not just change your life and the life of others, but you can go out here and be a key decision maker in the world. You could possibly change the world, man, with your platform. Using it for bullshit. Cats need to wake up. I'm in the breeze.